All right. Let's get some audio in here. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to assume that everything is all right. I need to turn down the volume. There we go. I think that's a little bit better. So, let's see if this works. This is then my first stream, and it's going to be the first stream of Lord of the Rings Online, obviously. Here we can see my start menu already. We are actually going to start a new character. So, yeah, welcome everyone. The idea behind this is that I want to essentially level through the game as normal, show a little bit about the game as we go on. I mean, probably a little bit more than a little bit, as I plan on taking this character, all the way up to level cap. And obviously that will then, particularly because it's Lord of the Rings Online, that will take some time. And so we're going to play through the game as much as we can, though I do want to say we are also going to jump back and forth between this character and my main. My main is actually a warden. I've started over on the Meriadoc server. That's one of the new 64-bit servers. So I'm on Meriadoc, which is technically a role-playing server, but I actually don't role-play at all. But still, the people are nice. It's a little bit smaller. I was on Orcrist, and there were so many people that, for anyone who plays a warden, where you have to have the gambit system, they then definitely know that as soon as you have any kind of lag, you essentially always have to play this button mashing game in order to get your combos. You have to play it with lag in mind. And it works, but it's not as fun. And so I decided to switch over to Meriadoc in the hopes that, I don't know, the server pings, or at least the latency was lower. It certainly is, simply because the population is smaller. But you can definitely still notice some lag. But it is what it is. Anyway, getting back to what we're going to do today, I want to level a new character. And like I said, we'll go back and forth probably between this one. Today we're just going to focus on this character. But we're also going to go to my main once in a while, because he's about level 137. And at level 140, I can get into what is now old content, but new content for me, because I've never played through it, the Umbar expansions. We're also going to play some other games, but we'll get to those when we do. Now, what class do we want to play? This is actually, so like I said, I'm playing on an EU server, and my main account used to be, well, this is my main account, but my account used to actually be on the US server, and my main was a mini, which was quite a lot of fun. Because I thought I would maybe heal or something like that. But I just ended up doing landscape content. And so I don't want to do, I mean, Minstrel's fine. As you can see, I don't have the Mariner yet. The idea is to grind out some of these coins, or the Lotro points, so that I can buy essentially the expansion. But anyway, I have always actually wanted to play a Loremaster, or what do we mean by always wanted to play? I've certainly played it before, but I've never leveled it very far. I was thinking of doing Hunter, to be honest, because that's quite fun, but they're actually planning on doing a class revamp. So instead of going through the Hunter and then having to relearn it, I thought, well, let's do the Loremaster. They just revamped this one, and so I thought, why don't we go through here? So the question is, what race do I want to play? I don't really like elves. I used to be a huge elf nerd, where pretty much all of my characters were elves. Then I think a lot of people go through the defaults just man, like the human race, which that's fine. And in fact, quite a lot of my characters are the man race. Otherwise, I do really like the dwarf race, but as you can see, they cannot be Loremasters. That's all right. And then hobbits, I don't know. I'm not really a big fan of the hobbits. So that essentially leaves us with man or high elf. Not as a brawler, though. I don't know. I think other than... I could either be a high elf or a regular elf. The high elf just has better textures because it's a newer race, essentially. But with that, of course, we've also got a couple of different racials. So -1 will isn't very good for Loremaster because that's essentially will is one of their main characteristics or one stats. We get some maximum morale and some non-combat. Okay, that's not too much. And then resistances. That's pretty inconsequential, particularly for landscape content. That none of that really matters. If I do that versus man, Gift of Man, +5 Fate, okay, fine. Okay, they also have -1 will. That's interesting. They have more healing, and they have more might. Might doesn't matter for this. I think I'm gonna go high elf just because my warden here is man, and so just to keep it different. All right. For any people who know me personally, they know that I don't really take a lot of time on the character customization. It's not that I don't care what my character looks like, but I don't know. I would just rather just jump right in. The question is, where do we want to come from? Probably, well, yeah, Imladris or Norgothrond. I'm not actually sure. I mean, this doesn't actually have any consequence on your character itself. It's just more the lore of your character. Let's go to Beleriand. I'm just going to randomize who do I want to be. That's a bit too long. That's a bit too confusing. Rinthalos. I quite like that. And I could... It's interesting that I can't skip the tutorial since I've done the tutorial successfully on 2 characters. But whatever, that's fine. So this is one of the updated ones in a peaceful... Oh, yeah, this is one of the updated ones in Mossword. And then this is the even more updated one, particularly because we've got the High Elf race. And so they actually start... Yeah, they actually start in an entirely different instance. It's really quite long, but I've done the Mossword introduction so frequently that I kind of want to... Yeah, I kind of want to do that one just for something different. Okay, let's just quickly go through here. I think... Ooh, that's a little bit yellow. That's fine. Let's see the different head types. I actually like to start with the hair first, because then, depending on the hairstyle, I can then choose the face. There was one I know, I quite like that, particularly with like whatever this thing here is in the back. That's quite nice. He looks, we definitely have to change some of those presets because he certainly looks a little bit freaked out and freaky. But I think I like that hairstyle. Let's change the hair color to something a little bit in the red if I can. Yeah, like that. Good. Right, he's elf, so he's not going to have any beards or anything. I don't think you even can. But let's then change the head preset. Okay, number 4 is better. I don't know if the ones starting later are automatically better. This is quite nice. 23. 16. He looks a little bit happier, though. I don't know what's going on in his nose region. Oh, we're 11. Okay, why don't we go with 11? Head width, make him giant. Yeah, like I said, I don't really mess around with any of these things. I'm sure, right, they're obviously there because they make a big difference, but I'm honestly, I pretty much never look at my character from this direction anyway, and so as long as the person doesn't look, the character doesn't look absolutely atrocious, then I'm fine with it. Let's see if we can get rid of, okay, I quite like that a little bit more. Okay, so we can put, do I want to put any freckles on? He's not a warrior, so it doesn't make sense to put any scars on. I quite like this. It's a little decent. It's, yeah, something like this. I don't want it to be, although that looks a little bit like chicken pox. Yeah. Because there it's, you can barely notice it. It's just a little thing. I quite like that. So why don't we keep it there? Yeah, jewelry. Sure, that matches this quite nicely, even though I'm sure I'm not going to use that afterwards. All right, cool. Then we're going to create this. I mean, if it turns out that I want to make some other changes, then I certainly can. So here we go then for the intro tutorial. And this is, if I recall correctly, this is then, it takes place essentially before the actual Lord of the Rings setting takes place. All right, I need to change all of these things. Thankfully, I saved this beforehand. So tutorials, turn these off. Thank you. Then we're going to UI layout load. Streaming goods. I'm just going to turn that off because people don't need to see that. Now, I've played. Oh, okay, I need to move this down a little bit because everything else should be okay. I want to say, and maybe, yeah. Why don't I just go ahead and add a new tab, and I'm just gonna call this not steaming. Depending on what's going on, it might be steaming. We'll have advancement. Although, no, I don't need advancement. I would like some RP. Say, tell. And that's about it. All right. Oh, okay. Interesting that, so on my main, I've got a, on my main, I actually have a house, and I actually didn't realize that the house also transferred. Okay, so like I said, I have no idea what any of this stuff does, so I'm gonna have to look at this. That's quite a lot of damage for just being level 10. You can see we're kind of character boosted. Okay, so here's a dot. Is there duration 20? And it takes half a second. All right. That's essentially melee. Which shocks your foe. Okay. So I'm actually gonna put, although maybe I want to put these here because these are then the melee. I've actually got the Razer Naga MMO mouse, and so I've got these set up where my buffs are going to be down here eventually, and my main skills are going to be here. So essentially a 4 by 3, essentially. All right, let's see what Parthalin has to say. So I am blind, so I need to increase that a little bit. Rithalos, that's right, that's my character's name. I need to remember that. You seemed as if it lost in the trance, and I could not rouse you until this very moment. My dearest friend, do not allow the enemy to cloud your thoughts with visions of defeat. Sauron surely knows the mastery is ours in this battle. Alas, a cornered foe is the most deadly, and there are none more treacherous than the enemy, with a capital E, in this realm. We must put our troubles behind us for the moment and press our advantage. All right, attend the High King's address. Yes, I see that. I quite like the RP. I think yeah, there we go. Here I can turn off the UI, make it a little bit more welcoming, essentially. I'm also going to turn off the names. Okay, so there's High King Gilgalad. But, so who's talking here? Alright, King Ryok, the Oathbreaker, and his traitorous kin have fled into the mountains. Alright, we're RPing, so we'll be serious. And Durin has sent only a few hundred of his folk. Only a few hundred. Yeah, like I said, if I remember, this is before this is one of the, I think this is not War of the Three Kingdoms, that's China. Anyway, something else. Sauron sows only division among those who would oppose him, and see now what it has done. The kings of Lorien and the Woodland Realm pressed their forces into certain defeat. And why? And why indeed? They allowed their pride to blind them to the enemy's treachery. Well, that's why then. Sauron is swift to twist the pride and fear of his foes into weapons of his own. The men of Numenor that remain in this realm know this treachery all too well. Ah, Isildur, that's who it is. We know who he is. He's going to kill previous Sauron. Indeed, the fates of Numenor... Oh, too fast. If we fall to defeat in this battle, there will never again be a force to oppose him. Well, better not fail. The Dark Lord gathers strength anew beyond the Black Gate. We must throw down the Moranon. Only then shall Sauron himself be forced to atone for the evil he has laid upon our peoples. I don't know why I said Sauron. We must put an end to his evil before... Oh no, a distant horn. I imagine I'm supposed to... High King, riders approach from beyond the Moranon. It is a meager assemblage, only 9 in number. Might the enemy seek to parley at last? Looks like it. Sauron does not wield his servants as ambassadors. Allow them to ride forth unhindered, but remain on guard. We shall meet them in the field. At last, the bearers of the 9 rings reveal themselves. The Shadow Kings, the Gwytherian, the Gwytherain, they have returned out of the darkness. They have indeed. I just heard something click. That usually means that something's changed in the questing. And since they're running up this way, I assume we have to as well. Yeah, it's a wonderful start. This is essentially, this used to be my apartment complex, and then Sauron came and burned it down. They approach, exactly, the nine landlords coming and destroying everything that I had. Ooh, that is very white. I don't know why that looks like that. Yeah, here we can see, there's the Witch King. And all of the other... That's cool. I was gonna say, are you guys just gonna stand there? The Elf King and the Accursed Faithful. My master has bidden me to deliver his terms. They like to capitalize Sauron. Terms? Have we assembled so great an alliance that your master now seeks to surrender? Sauron the Great speaks not of his surrender, but of yours. Speak then, servant of Sauron. I am no mere servant. You speak to a king of men and the lord of Nazgul. That's right, that's the Witch King, Nazgul. Do you no longer speak in your own tongue? You are no king. The ring you bear is seen to that. Silence, Elfresh. These are his terms. Celebrimbor crafted 3 rings in mockery of his design. You will surrender them and swear oaths to never again come before the gates of Mordor. I forgot I should have practiced these names beforehand. You would be wise indeed to accept his kindness. And if we should accept, what promise can he give that he shall not again make war against us? He offers none. Peace cannot be made with Sauron. Such an offer is merely another of his lies. Go now, flee to your master, and tell him that his doom approaches. So be it. Sauron the Great has stayed my hand for the moment. His patience is nearly over. It is you and this pitiful host who should flee. For soon, no shelter, no matter how well hidden, shall be free of Sauron's dominion. Wrong. Alright. Rinthelos, let us speak. That's me. So let's get the UI back on. Rinthelos, before the night arrived, I sent forth the spears of Lindon with a garrison of elves and men. With Sauron's demands rejected, we can no longer hold hope that the Gutherian shall stay their hands in this battle. Gwetherain. You know the spears as Thalarin, Megarol, and Durnain, my friends. And they have stood by my side through many great battles against Sauron and the most terrible of his servants. Ere they departed, they swore to cross the enemy's trenches and dismantle their siege equipment. It is true enough that a catapult shot has not hit our position in some time, but the wider front has been brought to ruin by these very tools. You must now be my scout and my messenger. Learn what has become of their garrison, and if any of them yet live, deliver to them a message of hope. The Alliance marches upon the Black Gate, and no evil man or orc shall stand in the way of our victory over Sauron. Go, my friend. I shall ready the Alliance to advance upon the Moradin. Be swift and safe, Rinthelos. I'll try. Alright, so learn the fates of the Spears of Lindon and their garrison. That's pointing that way, indicating I need to go this way as well. One thing I do like about the High Elves here, you'll see if I jump off from here, it should roll. Yeah, so he rolls. It's something minor, but I quite like it. Alright, so I need to go over this way. Oh, I was gonna say I should probably... Wow, that's strong. Okay, I essentially just because I only have these 3, I essentially try to stay in moving. Just so I can clobber on. Just turn down the volume a bit. There we go. Now I can hear myself think a little bit. I remember doing this on my... No, it couldn't have been my warden. Because my warden is human. But I remember doing this on another class, and it was equally fun how quickly all of of these mobs. Okay, I probably have to go up to this dude. It's, yeah, man. Swiftly now, this way. I mean, it's an intro anyway, so it's not supposed to be anything difficult. Oops, let's go up that way. That's quite nice to not have all of that battle noise in the background. Oh, I spoke too soon. Okay, the Spears of Linen have held against Sauron's forces, but they struggle or something. I didn't read the rest. Megarill? Hail, Winthos, I am Megarill of Linden. How fare the battles to the north? You tell Megarill of your encounter with the Gwetherain and deliver High King Gilgalad's message. If we shall truly strike at the Blackgate this day, the Alliance must soon come hither. We did as the High King commanded and brought the enemy's weapons to ruin. But when the Gwetherain appeared, they slew many of our number and divided our forces upon the Daggerland. The faces by which I once knew the Gwetherain when they first took the rings have gone faded. But this one I knew by his blade. The Cursed Rider he is called, and he goaded his steed onward over the backs of elf, man, and orc alike. Regrettably, we were forced into retreat before we could aid many of them from the field of battle. We now struggle to hold the only path over the great trenches, and the enemy's forces have brought forth more trebuchets and ballistae upon the Daggerland. Aid the wounded in the field, and let us hope that the Alliance shall arrive to drive off the enemy's forces. All right, and Durnaith, what do you say? Speak quickly, friend, for our foes surge from the east. I like how he says, speak quickly, and then he goes on this whole tirade. You tell Durnaith of your encounter with the Gwetherain and deliver the High King's message. The Gwetherain, two of their number, passed through our garrison from the north. One rode westward and scattered our numbers, but the other, he took Thalarin. In the midst of battle, he caught Thalarian's sword arm in a cruel coil of rope and dragged him eastward by his forest. I could not follow through the mass of orcs. I failed him. I failed the High King, but I must fight on. Alright, so we gotta rescue some people. They're killing them fast enough then. Yeah, it doesn't show, since we're in an instance essentially, it doesn't show which direction. Okay, I can't go that way, so I clearly need to go the other way. Alright. Ah, there we go. Wounded soldier. I think the music that's playing here is the same as in, I think the place is called Lingarith? It's in Mordor, essentially. Definitely one of my... I really don't like the Mordor expansion. Just because, yeah, the lag is pretty bad there. And the quest flow just isn't really that great. Oh, it keeps missing. That's pretty sad. This one does. Oh, it must have a high miss chance. Anyway, the music they play there is really quite nice, and that reminds me of it a lot because that's essentially where it's a Lingarath or whatever it's called. Hold on, I can look it up. It is right plateau, Lingris. This area. This is essentially land of the spiders. Yeah, see, that keeps missing. All right, I believe he is here. Yeah, exactly. There's the Cursed Rider. There is no escape for you. We're probably going to be attacked by spiders. See you now the fate of those who defy my master. The Dark Lord holds no power over me, Wraith. Be my fate sealed or not, my arrow shall fly true. Fools, wills can be broken. Granduil of Greenwood, and this blade shall see to that. All right, here come the spiders, exactly. It's quite cool. So, what's the spider? Cernaston the Young? He or she or it's whatever comes back also in what was that place called again? In Lingris. So, you essentially have to fight this spider again later. which I can't remember if you actually end up killing them. We have to do the spiders first. Man, I really would like some AoE. There we go. I think this is also one of the reasons why, particularly at the beginning, I definitely did not like Loremaster. See, I just got these 3 skills. That one misses half the time. And I always thought it was boring. But we'll see. You have rescued Thranduil from the Cursed Rider. The prince is fortunate to have survived his father's attack on the Blackgate. But the Gwatheron's words trouble me. The rider spoke a name in Kenya ere he departed. Ungwatari, the Spider Queen. Ungoliant is gone from this realm and shall trouble the world no longer. But her children remain, preying on anything they can devour and spreading her darkness through Middle-earth. One among them must now hunger as she did, without a care for the powers of the Dark Lord, and without any purpose other than to consume. These are unhappy tidings, my friend, even if it seemed fortuitous that the great spiders turned upon the rider. If we do not face the child of Ungoliant in the war, it is certain that the day will come when her hunger shall seek to sate itself beyond the shadows of Mordor, which is what happens. That's why you have to fight her later. The High King gave me leave to pursue you at the urging of the Spears of Linden, but he has called for your return at once. The Alliance has come to the Ford Garrison at last. Reunite with them there, Renthalos, and make ready for our assault on the Blackgate. All right. Glorfida and I shall tend the Prince's wood. Go now. All right, off I go. That's another thing that I am definitely spoiled by on my Warden. I think maybe that was also why I was considering doing a Hunter, is you get a run speed buff, where it's like 15% run speed. Elrond spoke true. The High King and Elendil have come. I'm glad to see you again, Winthlos. I like how he says that, and I just saw him like 5 minutes ago, but whatever. Donath and Megaril have told me of Theleron's capture, and I am troubled by such grim tidings. The Dark Lord would not have soon forgotten the wounds he suffered at our hands, and I fear what form his vengeance might take. Even now, as I wish to abandon my duty, I cannot turn my eyes from the Blackgate at such a crucial hour. Thus, I give you this mission of dire importance. You must find Theleron, and you must save him from the Gwatherain. As for the Alliance, one of Durin's folk has devised a cunning plan to draw the attention of the Dark Lord's forces and allow for a swift strike against the Blackgate. In truth, I know not if this plan shall bear fruit, but we must conquer the gate if Sauron, I don't know why I keep saying Sauron is to be defeated. I would ask that you speak to Slegar the Crafty. He is an honorable enough dwarf despite his chosen title. Once you have done as he speaks, pursue the Gwatherain and rescue Theleron. Our paths are now divided, my friend, but let us hope each of them lead to victory. May the light of the Valar shine upon us. Okay, talk to Slegar the Crafty. Slegar. At your service, Rintholos. Can't even say my own name. Or perhaps you are at mine. Have you considered how the enemy's trenches never seem to stop burning? Well, I have. Slegar gestures to the pile of barrels beside him. These barrels are filled with a crude black powder that explodes when exposed to flame. Not only that, but it burns for hours afterward. If it were more useful in the stonework, I think Durin himself would have us steal some away. The Dark Lord's Black Riders, the damned ring race as the men call them, they're wily enough, but these goblins are none too bright. They've left the barrels right next to their own ballistae and catapults. Why don't you set some of them off? That ought to put an end to their siege and draw their attention long back enough for the Alliance to reach the Blackgate. Just make sure you don't stick around once you light them. Alrighty, so this time okay, so here it actually shows it, and then we have to go there. Yeah, so this is actually the wastes. Yeah, we're essentially right here. And this is all, right here. It's playing out right there. Later on, you then come to the wastes. Oh. Okay, usually if you see 2 rings here, that means that you can collect some quests, but they're probably highlighted because I got the quests from them. Alright, so let's get this dude. Goodbye. And just interact with these. I do believe, like, you can stand next to it, and you won't die. Well, you'll see, but I'll take some damage. Since I'm only level 10 Loremaster, I'm not the brightest Loremaster out there. But at least I can chuck around fireballs and still pretty much one-shots things. Done it as an archer, of course. I do wonder... Yeah, I do wonder how... I mean, people essentially sing the Loremaster's praises ever since it's been revamped. Though a lot of its functionality has been removed. It used to be very much just a support class, like a control class, which it still is, particularly if you play the yellow line. But experts of the class very much lament the changes that were enacted. They say a lot of the classes kind of what made a Loremaster characteristically Loremaster seems to have disappeared a bit, I guess. But apparently it's very OP now, particularly the red line, which, as far as I know, I believe the red line is just more damage, and fewer pets, and then the blue line is damage, but with pets. All right, let's follow these hoof prints. All right, what was going on here? To the northeast. I was going the wrong way. I guess that's where it started. Yeah, man, I definitely miss having my out of combat run speed boost. But I'll get used to it. And then probably unget used to it once I play my warden. But I guess that just means I'll enjoy it more when I actually do play it. All right. Rinzos, can it be? Yes, who are you? An elf. Follow me. Lady Harthelin shall want to speak with you. Then, off we go. And there she is. You have not found Thelerin or the Gwatheran. Rinthelos, I am gladdened by this reunion, but there is little else to celebrate. The High King sent me and my company eastward to learn what had become of the elves of Lorien, but alas, only Prince Amroth remains upon the field. His father and the others were rooted to the north, but where they have gone we cannot follow. The prince is injured, but he will heal in time. I must ask, though, why have you come? You tell Harthelin of the task given to you by the High King himself, and of Thelerin, the lost spear of Linden taken by one of the Gwatherain. Your tale troubles me, for Amroth spoke of a terrible figure that passed with an elf slung across his steed. Time may grow short for Thelerin, my friend. I think it is time we learned more of what the prince saw. All right. I think the prince is back here. Oh, yeah, he's hiding. He's hiding, essentially, while he's recovering. So for this part, I'm essentially reading through all of the RP and such. I don't think I'm going to. Once I finish this tutorial, you can essentially see what they're saying here. Just because I actually want, it's more about gameplay, essentially. Not that the story's bad or anything. Maybe in my main, when I get into Umbar and stuff, I might go through them. But we'll see. We'll see. All right. It was then he looked upon me, and what remained beneath his hood sniffed madly at the air. Like in the movies. There was a sorcery in his gaze, I tell you, for his eyes were as flames in a void. Perhaps he thought me slain, for he then rode on into the hills. No, it cannot be. It can be no other Hithgal. The Witch King has taken the Laren. I don't know why I can't say that name. Be wary, the men of the east who slew my father have an encampment in the hills, and it is there he must have gone. Thank you, Prince Amroth. If the men of the east hold the hillside, then we must go by secret steps. All right. Then we'll talk to you again once you've stopped moving. When my company came to Prince Amroth's aid, I heard a great cry and a thunder like flapping wings from above. It sounded like some terrible flying creature, as great in size as the eagles. I could not spy it through the smoke, but I am certain it lurked beyond my sight. I do not know if this creature is a servant of Sauron's, but its presence makes me fear all the more for Thaliran. If the Witch King has taken him to the Overlook, we must pass through the Easterling encampment ahead. The men of the East have grown arrogant behind Sauron's might, and they have left a small passage in their encampment open to the woodlands. Follow me, and we shall sneak in and avoid the dangers of approaching their gate upon the road. We could sneak in, or we could essentially, particularly because we're duoing this, we could essentially just go in and kill everyone. Oh, there's some nice lag. Ooh, yeah, definitely some lag. I mean, it is a Sunday, so there are going to be a lot of people playing. That's funny. Nice, funny pathing. Yeah, so I do expect there to be some lag and such. I mean, even more than usual. If we were playing on Orcrist, I could imagine there would be even more. All right. I can see some fires ahead of up there, I think. Getting to the camp of the Easterlings. We must move quietly, Rintlos. It is not far now. Yeah, isn't that a dude right there? Yeah. Hold, their sentry seems on the edge of sleep. Hello. Face your doom. I was gonna say, that was probably a bit too loud. Nice. I got essentially the elite mob. But again, we're like super buffed. I think we get, yeah, the Last Alliance. No, it doesn't seem like it. But we're super buffed anyway, and so this isn't supposed to be hard anyway. The stairs up the hill lead to the Overlook. You must save the Laren. All right, hoofprint. Missed. All right, let's see if this misses. Nope, that looks good. I wonder if that's also a thing where, although that wouldn't, I was gonna say, I wonder if that's also a thing where you have to, yeah, there must be nearby. If this first one, yeah, burn the, I mean, essentially the dot, if it has, like the further away you are, the higher the likelihood that it will hit. But as far as I know, that doesn't really happen in this game. I don't think, at least. All right, doing the Stairmaster here to go rescue Thaliran. We should probably, yeah, now we're not on the Black Gate, but that's it, essentially, right there. But we're certainly close to it. Because it's not Baldugur. Right? No, obviously not. Yeah, because, where is that? Yeah, Doramach, and then Barad-dûr. There's Barad-dûr. So essentially, Sauron's headquarters. Which, obviously in the tutorial we won't do. This is all beforehand. But once you get to Mordor, then you get to go inside. There he goes! You come too late, servant of Gil-galad. Your fear has left you defenseless, and the elf has been borne away by the wingless beasts of my masters. Looks pretty cool. The Elf King will never see him again, for he shall suffer evermore in the dungeons of Barad-dûr. Exactly. Careful. But you, Rinthlos, you shall be changed, and you will return to Gil-galad as his greatest foe. Uh-oh. Such is the will of Sauron. So he did actually stab me. Suffer now and rise anew into the realm of the unseen. It's a very delayed response. See, like, did you feel it? Did you feel it? Nope. Oh, now I felt it. Felt it so much that I woke up in the troll shaws. Ah. Okay, now I have to try to get up. Or mumble, meaning stand up and mumble something. Stand up and mumble something again. And then mumble to Harthalain. Can it be? Lord Elrond, Rinthlos has awoken at last. We got the nice Rivendell music in the background. Rest easy, my friend. You are safe from harm in Imladris. The wound has healed, but Rinthlos remains in need of rest, Harthalain. Rest well, my friend. I shall return in 40 years. You have awoken at long last. All right. So that was Elrond, so we're obviously in Rivendell. It brings me great joy to see you upon your feet once more, Rinthlos. After you fell, we attempted to heal you upon the battle plain, but the Witch King of Angmar had dealt you a grievous injury, one unlike any dealt to our peoples before by the hands of the Dark Lord. The decision was made to return you to Imladris, far from the lands of the enemy. You suffered for years in restless agony as my healers worked to free you of the evils that lingered in your wound. When the war was ended, I returned to aid them and learned much of the healing the foul wounds of Morgulsteel. When at last you could rest, you did so for many long years. Despite my efforts, your strength has diminished greatly. It may take a great time, but I believe you shall again know the power that lies within you. As for the task given you by Gil-galad, do not consider it a failure, Rinthlos. None could have foreseen the enemy's malice in sending his Nazgul to seize Thalirin. Tragically, he was never found, even after Barad-dûr itself was brought to ruin. It wounded Gil-galad greatly to lose you both in the war, and it is said that his light was dimmed through all the battles that followed. Even so, he did not falter before the enemy. No, you did not fall in vain, my friend. Our victory on the battle plain that day bore fruit indeed. Sauron resisted our assaults for 7 years in the Dark Tower, but in the end he was cast down by Gil-galad and Elendil. Elendil's son Isildur cut the ring from Sauron's finger, destroying the Dark Lord and banishing him from his realm. Alas, there is more to be said on these matters. Walk with me. You remember the war as if it were yesterday, do you not? You are one of the few that remain in this realm that can recall it as I do, my friend. I come here often to reflect on the sacrifices we made in that war. Oh, that's quite nice. I like that. I think you can get a shield like that. Indeed, Gil-galad and Elendil defeated the Dark Lord, but they did so at the cost of their own lives. That's right. The realms of elves and men were thus forever changed, and the world passed into the Third Age. Oops, excuse me, Elrond. Thanks for walking right through me. And so it has been for many years now. I do not wish to alarm you, Rinthlos, but it is now the 3018th year of the Third Age. So he's been sleeping for 3,018 years. I forgot that, essentially. Even if much else has changed, Imladris is as you remember it. You have borne many burdens in your time, my friend, and so I give you leave to depart to the havens if you wish to it. I would imagine he does. There was another here who sustained a terrible wound in the war. Hithgal is his name. Since chance has woken you today, perhaps he too is healed of the enemy's wounds. See if he has woken up from his long rest, and then we shall speak more of your journey to the havens. All right. Let's see what happened to Hithgal. I should have maybe gone the other way. So he's still passed out. Very much so. Probably how you looked for about 3,000 years. Strength is returning, but he remains in restless slumber. Few months more, I think. It's unfortunate to hear of Hithgal's continued ills, but I hold hope he shall soon recover as you have, Rintholis. You see, when the battle came at last to Barad-dûr, Sauron himself felled Hithgal with a deadly blow, and it seemed only by the grace of the valor that he was not at once ended. Even still, the steel of the Dark Lord's weapons was tainted in much the same way as the blade that pierced you, and he has suffered its effects as you did for many long years. Now then, we have spoken enough of the past. Let us turn our minds to the days ahead. Much has changed since we last traveled together from Imladris, my friend. It seems now an age of men, and I sense the time of the elves in Middle-earth draws near to its end. Indeed, many have departed this realm for the uttermost west by the ships of Círdan, our friend of old. He is now called the Shipwright by those who know his works, and he dwells in Mithlond with the few that still remain in the surface as skilled crafters. Much of the wood used by Círdan is ferried to Mithlond by way of the port of Celendim along the Ered Luin, and it is there you must journey to reach the havens. Rintholis, I have gathered your belongings and a few supplies for your journey. I have set your ring in its case upon the table across the room, and your armor rests in a chest at your bedside. It is still marked from battle, but time has not worn it elsewise. Indeed, the passing of an age has dimmed only our light, and given rise to the shadow in the east, Concerning such matters, I have also prepared for you a tome of writings on the history of the Third Age thus far. You are free to claim them ere you depart. Once you are prepared, we shall speak more of your journey to Celendim. All right, we'll get all these things, and then that's kind of nice. You can essentially, I need to go through all of that. I forgot about that. Gives you kind of a primer, so to say, on all of the happenings beforehand. I need to move this as well. I'll do that afterwards. Essentially when I talk to Elrond. Just because this is overlapping a little bit too much. There we go. And let me just save that. Did that work? Yes. Very good, Rintholis. In your time, your strength will return, my friend, and the power of the ring shall rise with it. I hope my writings prove to be of use to you as well. I recount much of the time that passed while your wound healed, and even I cannot be aware of all that has transpired since the end of the Second Age. As for your journey, my sons shall see you to Celendim in the course of their own travels. Elladan and Elrohir are to follow an expedition to the ruins of Adelion, led by the elf Dorolus on my behalf. Speak not of this to any outside their company, but I had a strange premonition, and in it, amidst a field of blurred visions, a voice rose saying, "Blood-red footsteps upon snow-colored black, where the Dour King walks to take back his throne and finish what has begun." It is a troubling riddle, my friend, and one that I do not think soon solved. Have you any thoughts on its meaning? You hear a muffled creak as the doors to Thamsend open. Ah, it is just as well. Such troubles are best left to Doralas and his expedition. My sons await you by the door to the central courtyard, and when you are ready to depart, they shall guide you to Kellendim along the Ered Luin. May your journey be swift and free of hardship, my friend. Namarie. Nice, and I get all of these things. Oh, and I can choose this. Yes, I would like a staff case. It's funny to see that I only need 100 XP. I know it's from level 1 to 2, but 100 XP. I think I need 11 million XP on my main now. Oh, this is quite nice. I can take this to my house. So let's go to Ered Luin. So Father has at last given you leave to travel from Imladris Rinthalos. I must say I am excited to learn more of the battles of ages past from you. Father told us not to bother you with so many questions, but this is likely our last chance, is it not? I'm certain Father has told you all about the journey ahead. But do not worry, the matter of his dreams need not trouble you. Besides, the journey to Kellendim should give us enough time to speak on other matters. I would think the events of the past 3,000 years would be of some interest to you. My brother and I stand ready to set out for the Ered Luin. If you're prepared, we shall depart. Off we go. All right. And here we are. Yeah, I guess I can take that. Okay, specialization. So, yes, I'm sure I do have mail. I need to then set this up. What is this one over here, actually? Ah, that's right. I essentially put that there. Because once I start to get travel skills, then I can put that there. So you can see over the years I've collected quite a number of things. I like to put all of these together in one bag. So it's a bigger window, but that's fine. Good, because then it's all nicely organized there. Okay, the only thing I really need, I don't need the armor or the patron. I need the riding. Good, so now I can learn all of these horses. So now I can essentially already have the mount riding skill. That'll take me to Bree, which I don't need to do. Let's equip these things. Do I want a hooded one? Let's see. Let's just equip all the different things he gave us. This. It's also, essentially all this gear is also a reason why it's generally helpful to do that high elf intro. Because then... because then you get all of these yellows essentially. It's nothing major, but it certainly helps. All right, I'll do all of this stuff off screen, essentially going through everything. I think I can get rid of that. Yeah, studying new skill. Right, it's to get my corgi, but I don't need those. I do, however, want, because I am subscribed, so I can get then the VIP things. Good. And I just want to put these things in the wardrobe. Yes, good. And I believe, exactly, I've actually gone through all of these already. And so I've added all of these items, particularly these back pieces, the cloaks. These were then for collector's edition to Riders of Rohan, or Rohan, depending on how you pronounce it. I've got that, so I don't need that there. Oh, that's funny. Oh, and the Morio goat, sure. I've got that essentially there. All right, let me use this. Bind. Now, I need to, oops. I need to choose a specialization. Like I said, I think I want to go for red. This is really interesting. So this is the first time I'm actually looking at this. Masters of Nature's Fury. Use the strength of nature to damage foes. Strengthening a bond with the elements using fire, frost, and storms to maximize damage. Blah, blah, blah. Why is there essentially only that text? And then we've got essentially all those. I wonder if that's a bug, right? Like, why wouldn't they give you all those? Anyway, because this, like I said, allow your animal companions to deal devastating damage by supporting them with buffs and healing. And then yellow is essentially what you use for group content. All right, so I have zero idea what to do, but since we are fire, tactical, so this is good, this is good. All of these are good. Oh, actually, I want to see what skills I've got. All right, so we definitely want that. So let's do fire, fire, frost, call upon to surprise. That applies to flanked effect. I don't think, yeah, when you're playing alone, you can't flank anyway. All right, so on all of my characters, I have Q as a dispel, like some sort of debuff on me. R is interrupt, and Shift F is break out of like a stun or something. Okay, and then, like I said, this is where I've got, so I'll put my travel skill there. This is my big cooldown, so that's a cooldown of 2 minutes. And yeah, whatever, I'll put that there for now. Oh, that was a different one, actually. Yeah, that's... I guess you could do something like that. I don't think I'll really need that. Okay, so... yeah, I mainly want to do... This has a half-second cooldown, 10-second cooldown. To improve ignition, the skill can cash out burning embers for bonus damage. I bet that Master of Storms, Master of Fire, Master of the Unseen. This tactical damage, plus 10% tactical damage, that's good. That applies to all, essentially, magic. All right, I'm going to do this first. And then I need... let's see, which mount would I like? Let's try this one. That's fine. Although, so I'm essentially, so this is then, yeah, Ered Luin. This is the starting area for elves. Oh, I need to talk to that person. For elves and dwarves. And this is like the best place to grind. So I'm not going to get the, well, perfect on the pass. I'm going to collect the quest, but I'm not going to actually do it. Although I bet it's okay. It's still probably really easy to do. Oh, I could do a difficulty. I'm not very comfortable with, since I don't know the Loremaster at all, I don't really want to do a difficulty change, right? So with this, I could say, okay, they say essentially only go up to Fearless to Fearless 3, essentially. But you definitely need crafted gear, and I don't have any crafters. My warden, I think, is a cook and a farmer, but I want to change that to the various crafters, metalsmith, weaponsmith, etc. So for that reason, we're just going to play normally. We're not going to change the difficulty, the landscape difficulty. But we're then essentially just going to start this area. The way that I have planned, the way that I'm thinking is, I know there's one of these quests that you don't actually need to complete, but I always forget which one it is. I think it's this one, Sprung a Leak. if I'm being honest. Yeah, because he's favorite. A lucky goat horn. I think this is then, yeah, that's then for the anniversary. I love the music here. I definitely want to turn up the music. This is when I first started this game, which I now have. Let's see, what frame do I have? So, because that will tell me. No, I've definitely been playing it more than 8 years. It's essentially in one of these Gifts of Eldors, Rohirrim, 2 armor, 14. Yeah, 16. Yeah, exactly. So I've been playing it for 16 years, which is crazy to think. But so when I first started playing this 16 years ago, that was when I was into elves and everything. So I'm pretty sure I made an elf, and the elves actually start up here. So not the high elves, but the old school elves, essentially. You start up here. And I absolutely loved it here. Completely different from what I was used to. Okay, so this is also another prologue. But yeah, completely different from what I was used to. Yeah, in this new shine, I don't think you need this. And then Sprung a Leak is actually inside as well. I think I will do that. Like I said, I've almost got this down to a T or to a science, though, except for this starting area. Just in that there are 2 or maybe 3 quests that you actually don't need to complete. And also doesn't make sense to complete them. I mean, makes sense in the sense that you will have completed, essentially to complete the deed, to get the virtue XP for completing quests. There are something like, I want to say 4 quests, I want to say, that you don't have to do. It could be more. But there could be about 4 quests or more that you don't have to do, and so you want to skip the ones that are just go here, run there, go back, talk to this other person, go talk to another person over there then. And so I just want to skip a lot of these quests that have you run back and forth. So I am going to... The reason I just ran there was to discover this point of interest, the Silver Deep Mine. And so now I'm running up here to get into the entrance here, Winter Heights, so I can do the cave legs. All right, so I'm interested to see. Yeah, and we need some sand. Yeah, exactly. We've got sand as well. So we will see. I mean, these mobs are obviously really easy. Okay, so that was the new one here, which I think it makes sense to then do this, then that. Right. I haven't decided whether I want to approach this from a completionist perspective. What I mean by that is whether I want to deed out an entire area. Because as I have... Oh yeah, festival, whatever. I'm not going to do the festival, or the essentially anniversary quests. Partially because they're also broken anyway. But it doesn't really interest me anyway. Yeah, so as I was saying, I'm not sure if I actually want to deed out an entire area. That would then involve doing all of the exploration, all of the quests, all of the Slayer deeds. So it essentially just extends the life of a area potentially by a ton. I have found, essentially in the past, what I've done is I've just essentially leveled. If on the way I could do Explorer or Slayer deeds, then fine. But what I'm thinking of doing is instead doing the same approach of I will just quest, and as soon as I level, no, sorry, take that back. I will quest, and once I finish the quest deed, the questing deed, where it's like, you know, here, as soon as I turn in one of these quests, it will show up, unless I actually already have. It will say like complete 40 quests in this area or something like that. And as soon as I complete that, unless I'm really in love with the area or something, then I'll usually say, okay, this area is done. Or if I just want to, if I know that the next couple of, actually I'm going to go this way. If I know that the next couple of quests that remain are easy, then I'll complete those as well, just to fill out my XP bar a little bit more. But it'll depend on the region and such. All right, so what is this here? Tearing wind causes frost damage. Okay, so that's frost. When traded in Nature's Fury, this causes a chance to make burning embers burn hotter and spread to nearby foes. Okay. Which I can't do it anyway. So this is what I meant by the Slayers. So here you have to kill, this is a beginner area, so it's only kill 30, and then there's an advanced. So the kind of intro quest, or intro deed is kill 30. Once you've done that, then it unlocks the advanced, and you have to always kill double what the beginner one is. Right, so you all in all, you have to kill 90. Right, so 30 plus 60. It's not that it's hard. You could see how quickly the mobs are dying here. But if you're even higher, like say I was level 16 instead, then they would die even faster. And that's kind of then the justification or the reasoning behind essentially waiting to do the Slayer deeds until you're a higher level, because then it just becomes that much easier. So I think that's probably what I'm gonna do. I'm not gonna try to rush to level cap, particularly because the level cap is then being raised to 160, and getting to the level cap of 150 nowadays is super high. It takes really quite a long time. So I'm much more interested in my Warden getting to level cap, particularly in time for the new expansion. I don't know how, depending on when the new expansion will come out, probably be this November. That's usually when SSG drops them. So I think, and my main is by no means a completionist. He might become one. So that's also something like this tune itself does not have to be completionist, particularly if I decide then for my main to become one. So we'll see. But I mean, in terms of I don't really have any long-term goals. I would say it's just essentially I want to level and have fun and explore a new class on this one. Continue exploring my Warden, because actually that's the first time I leveled a Warden. Wardens are definitely one of the trickier classes. I guess, I mean, it said on the character creation screen here that Loremasters are also on the more advanced side, which I would definitely agree with for the Warden. But the Warden is essentially just making sure that you know all of the various skills and all the different combinations for your gambits, which is admittedly a lot, but once you get essentially a set rotation down of, I want to say like 12 skills or something, so 12 skills and then all those various combinations, then it's actually really quite nice and quite easy. All right, we'll take that, even though I don't really need the vitality, but whatever. Did I? No, I did that already, so I don't need to. Okay. See, so this is what I meant. Complete quests in Ered Luin. Right, so here it's only 10. I then just know from experience, they stopped doing it this way, at least in a lot of places, where it's incremented multiple times. So here we can see just 1 through 10. It'll then have like a medium range one, so like a level 2 advancement, and then it will have a final level 3 advancement. Now, I don't have hardly any staves or staves in my wardrobe. How does that look? It just looks like a normal one. That's fine. I think it would be better to go. That's fine. It's nothing to write home about, though. But I am excited to, because that's the thing. Originally, I used to really be into the mage archetype. But it's not that I'm not anymore, but I'm definitely not as into it. I'm now much more into the melee warrior paladin type of archetype. So if a game provides an option to play one of those, then I will. Hence why I started and decided to make my main a warden. But I do certainly like the mage archetype as well. And so that's why we're going to go with a Loremaster, which is, you know, Lord of the Rings equivalent of a mage. All right, so this is actually the only one that I do inside. There are some other quests, like there's a quest once we go up here, it says like you have to take some armor. And there, it's switched, and you have to go take it to someone there. And then you have to go to Gisli. I talked to Tinder, that's funny. You have to go to Gisli, but then you have to run back here, and it's too much running back and forth. I mean, it's not too far, but it's also unnecessary. This is part of the reason why I love playing the dwarves and also starting here, because the architecture is just stunning. Really, really like it. All right, so off we go. That's pretty much everything here. As far as I remember, yeah, for Thorin's Gate, as far as I remember, I'm gonna go turn in this, A Patch in Time, and then Gisli's favorite, you can see, is down at Nogland. And then we're essentially already done with Thorin's Gate. All right. Tinder's gloves. I don't know. I lose some will. Whatever. I do kind of, even though these aren't necessarily better because, yes, they've got more armor, but they lose then the will. I do kind of, because landscape in this game, so the overworld quests, they're not anything particularly difficult. I do like to just kind of take the quest gear when they give it. Just to make things not necessarily a little bit more difficult per se, but just to kind of see, okay, what type of progress is there, reward progress is there as you move along, and to see if, like, let's say I chose one of the quest rewards and I was using something else beforehand. Well, I guess everything I use is quest rewards, but let's say I choose one, and before choosing it, oh god, what was that? These prowlers, they really suck. Okay, so I should essentially, I mean, this says though it had to be traded in Nature's Fury. I'm not quite sure what that is. Is that one of these things here? No. It might be, oh yeah, Master of Nature's Fury. So, when traded in Nature's Fury, which I am, the skill has a chance to make the burning embers burn hotter and spread to nearby flows. So essentially, if I want to do AoE, I'll do this and then this. Okay. And I've now forgotten what I was saying beforehand. but whatever. One of the other reasons why I really like it here is because my nose itches and because it's snowy. I mean, snow landscapes are probably one of my... are they my favorite? Probably. It's a very close tie with autumnal landscapes. So autumn, you know, the different colored leaves, orange, red, brown, green leaves, the sprawling landscapes. I just finished Valhalla, so Assassin's Creed Valhalla for the second time, just because I really liked it. And some of the landscapes there, both in Norway, where the game starts, but then also in England, absolutely breathtaking. All right, I don't think you want... No, you do want cooked carrots. So as you can see here, I'm not reading through the quest texts because I have read through them many a time before, and I think it's more interesting anyway to kind of see what gameplay turns out to be as we level. But you know, if you feel like, oh no, could you please read the quest text, even for like these side quests essentially, or not necessarily side quests, but they're certainly much more inconsequential, then just let me know, and we can definitely do a type of read-through gameplay. And, you know, that will then just extend the amount of time it will take to actually level, but that's fine, I don't mind. All right, we'll do that, and then this would then spread. That's kind of cool. I like how thematic the Loremaster is. Is this a soothe or something? Yeah. Very good. So I'll put that on Q so I can then... Ooh. Yeah, and the sound effects of the Loremaster, particularly when the Loremaster like slams down his... I always thought that was really cool. I think that will happen here. I haven't tried it out with Lightning Strike, but I think that does happen. All right. Clear away the thickets. Oh. Yeah, the music in this area. Love it. I can't remember the name of the composer. I believe he also composed the the music for Guild Wars 1 and 2. Jeremy, I think. But absolutely love it. Okay, I should be probably I should actually be using all three. So I'm killing these... Oh wait, no, I shouldn't kill the Hendrivals yet, just because a quest comes afterwards. Oh, I should just be using that lightning, because it's got a cooldown, which automatically means it's going to be stronger. So I'll do this, and then this. Okay, yep. Definitely zap everything. All right, I remember, yeah, we've got some Hendrivals here that are good for the deed. For the Hendrival deed, essentially the Slayer deed. And, okay, yeah, I essentially went the entirely wrong way. I need to go talk to him. There's some bears there, there's some bears up here, and then I'll kill the lynxes on the way. All right. There's another one. So if I just do this, makes sense to do that first. I wonder even, yeah, more Hendrival. Like I said, I think I should just kill them, because there is... I will probably do the deeds, essentially all of the deeds, in order to unlock the meta deed for this area. I'll probably do it for this area, just because it's a beginner area, and so it's really easy to complete, and you get a lot. Now I do have to also double check. So this is what I was talking about with the deeds, the virtues. I believe, no, I do not need zeal. Probably wisdom. Yeah, so I'll start learning that. So here are the virtues. I'll probably do wisdom. Let's see, wisdom, not determination. Yeah, wisdom, confidence. Yes, honesty. I don't think I need finesse rating. I'm not entirely sure. And then some. I need essentially 3. So definitely wisdom. I don't need physical mastery rating. So definitely wisdom. Yeah, I don't know if I need finesse on this class. Okay, I think so. So that's just essentially how much I block, or how much the enemies block. So that, confidence, mainly for the crit. And maybe fidelity, definitely honesty. So we'll see. All right, where was I? I need to go talk to this dude up here. Yeah, his camp should be right around the bend, meaning right there. All right. I'm pretty sure that was it. Yeah, you just have to talk to him quickly. All right, this is good because I can then get that one. And I can close some bears. There should be some down here as well. Yeah, that's one important. So I don't know if people know about this, but there's this indicator here. I think that's also, yes, this directional selection indicator. I don't know if people know about this, but you can see if I turn it off, then this line disappears. It is absolutely worth it. Oh, nice, and we've got one of these. Because, just as I did there... No, he doesn't have it. I can essentially tab target the mobs. And if I don't know where they are, I just look at the indicator and boom, there it is. Okay, I think I'm gonna change to that and then that. Because then, even if those two don't kill him, then they've got a dot on him. And then he'll die eventually. So there you can see it died. Alright, here come. This appears to be where all of the lynxes are. My other idea, instead of playing a Loremaster, I was thinking of playing a burglar, because that's one. So the burglar in this class, in this game, is the rogue archetype, and I've never been a rogue player. I think in World of Warcraft, I finally leveled a rogue because they were doing some leveling. I think because of its anniversary, some leveling bonus event essentially, where no, I think I leveled it. It was either the anniversary event or it was during Pandaria Remix, where leveling was a joke, but in a good way. It was meant to be just ridiculously easy and fast. And so I thought, well, I otherwise never play. I need to go this way. I never play a rogue. And if I can level it this quickly, I'll go ahead and try it out. So I did, and lo and behold, afterwards I never touched it. So I have one at level cap, I think, but I don't find it that fun. So then the parallel here to World of Warcraft, to Lord of the Rings, the burglar, I also thought, well, I could play that. Particularly because I do like here the aspect of being able to be sneaky and, you know, go behind enemy lines without them noticing you and such. Man, this has huge range. Oh, he's not dead. Particularly because there are many, many areas in this game that are just loaded with mobs. And so as a warden, it's fine. You essentially do apply a dot, you pull half the room, or even more. Yeah, this is where all the bears are. You pull half the room, then apply a hot, so while they're all attacking you, you don't die. And then you just do a couple of more AoEs or dots, and then they die. Easy peasy. We'll see how it's going to be for this class. I think this is still more single target centered. I don't know, but I also don't know how good of a job it does at keeping itself alive. Like, I don't know how much it can heal itself. Loremasters, I mean. Again, I think what I'm wearing, those yellows I think were better, but that's fine. Oh, nice. That one's actually better. And while I'm at it, I'm just going to eat... No, I don't need agility. Darn it. Whatever. All right, I got another skill. Light of Hope. Oh, speaking of healing. So, yes, I could theoretically heal, but not myself. Oh. I like how I haven't been spending my points. So definitely want to do this. What's this? Storm and Staff. Motes of lightning, periodic, gather around your staff. Call down a bolt of lightning. Criticals attract lightning motes to you. While charged with lightning, your staff can be used to call down a lightning strike on a nearby foe. Okay, well that's good for AoE, and then we'll go there. Okay, so essentially, yeah, just every 15 seconds, I'll get that buff. So this is what I was talking about earlier. That I have to kill the Hendrivals anyway. Ah, okay, I see. So that went with Staff Strike. So earlier, so now it's ranged, you can see. Yeah, Lightning Charge, Staff Strike. With improved ignition, the skill can cash out Burning Embers for bonus damage. Ah, okay, so again, this Burning Embers, that seems to be our basic pull with that, and then do that for more damage. Alrighty, let's get this fetish. I was actually hoping by the time we came out here, because when we were playing before, we were in Mordor and everything was dark, as Mordor generally is, and understandably. And I was hoping by the time we finished the tutorial, we'd come out here and be nice and bright. And of course, it's evening. And the day-night cycle in this game is very long. So, I mean, we could easily be in darkness for the next hour. I think actually I just need to. I can do that, and then that's even stronger. Now this as well. Okay, so it didn't apply it to him. I want to see, it's like I said. Oh, it just has a chance. So if I go like this, and then this. Nope, it didn't apply it to any of them. But still. Alright. I could imagine... Oh, let's go kill some more Hendrivals before we go back. There are usually lynxes here. So these lynxes share a respawn table. See how there are 3 here? They share a respawn table with the Hendrivals. So I actually should have killed them, because then by the time I come back, they would have been Hendrivals. But all right. Those actually, no, yeah, I don't need to kill those. I was wondering maybe for a deed or something, but no. Do they even attack? No, they just threaten to attack. At least at first. That's the nice thing about the low level. The low level areas, a lot of the mobs actually won't, you can see that they are aggressive, but they won't attack you right away. They'll first threaten to attack. I wonder what this next one is. Increases the bonus damage dealt when staff consumes a flank. Ah, okay. That is quite nice, but unless I use my cooldown, which I will, obviously, at times, but unless I use that, I can't flank mobs, right? Because they're obviously going to be running to me. So, in solo play, essentially, yeah, I can't flank, which is a pity. So maybe then, well, I think I'm gonna have. We'll see how it doesn't. It's only one. No, there are 3 ranks. I was gonna say it's only 1 point, but there are actually 3. But we'll see. It's definitely not for solo play. It's definitely not a priority. I also need to change this progress board. This needs to go here. My layout, save, streaming. All right. That's really nice, because then essentially that keyboard shortcut, or it's not a shortcut, but that macro essentially, I've got a different layout for when I'm playing on my own, and so I can then just load that other layout. I don't have to manually move everything around, so it's really, I wish more games had that. A lot of games have the functionality of being able to move things around nowadays. That has certainly gotten a lot better, a lot more intuitive, but what is still often lacking is the ability to then save the layout, quickly import it. Though I think even then, that's getting better. It's becoming less of a priority, I would say. All right. So just a couple more. Ah, nice. Even fewer. So the unfortunate thing about this being an induction is I really have to make sure that I'm not moving, which I'll stop pressing forward, so W to move forward, or if I'm just auto running, I'll stop, but then just because of server latency, the game will still think I'm moving. And so it'll stop even if I press it. So that's a little bit annoying, but I'm sure it's something I'll get used to. So with this beginner part, with the Hendrivals, it's always this quest. This is the one that, like, you either have fantastic luck and find the Hendrivals really quickly, or, this is the case now, you're running around a bit. I mean, I'll find one eventually, and still relatively quickly. if anything, I should probably just go back down that way. But this is, at least in like this first, in the flow of this area, I would say. It's the first, if maybe the only, that is a bit slow. Yep, see, there it is. All right, so I can go like this. Dead. All right, that's one thing that I love about Lord of the Rings is the auto loot, that I don't have to run up and click the character to loot. It's fine that other games have that. And I mean, if a game doesn't have auto loot, it's not, that doesn't automatically make it a bad game or anything. But I'm just saying, in terms of a quality of life thing, it is really so nice to essentially be able to kill something and then it automatically goes here into my loot. That is very nice. All right, so I'm gonna turn these up, and then it's gonna tell me to go there to kill some of the, okay, power or will. Let's get some will. Right, so you can see I've already completed here the quests, and they give you so, it's so nice how many virtue points the game gives you at the beginning. Like from the beginning all the way through to Moria, maybe even through Lothlorien. Oh, actually no, also through Mirkwood. After that, then Turbine, which used to be the publisher and developer of this game. They definitely became a little bit more stingy, and by little I mean a lot. And then they got super stingy, where it just, okay, I have to go up there. Where sometimes it would take ages to get virtues. But one thing that I actually tried out this time with my warden was like, okay, how important are virtues actually? Because as you can see, we've got all of these. You can only choose 5. I don't know what the virtue cap is now, but the number of virtues that you can earn is always your level divided by 2. Now, theoretically, they would still, even at level cap, raise the virtue level. And so right now my warden uses wit as one of them. I'm being attacked. And it is at 81, I believe, but my warden is only level 137. And so they can continue to raise that. Anyway, but the point I was trying to make is it was an experiment of mine to then see, okay, do I actually have to level the 5? Because that takes a lot of deeding then. You have to deed out a lot of areas in order to do that. So I said, I'm just gonna focus on 1 or 2, where I'm just gonna I'm gonna focus on 1 at first. And if that one that was selected is capped, then I'll have a second one, and if that then caps, then I'll have a third one. And that seemed to work really well for a long time. I mean, it still works now. The issue, I don't have the loaded names up. I've now got 1, so I've got the 1 virtue at cap, currently capped until I level up. And then I've got a second one, I think I'm like level 60, so 2/3 of the way there, and all the other ones are really low, like level 10 or below. But what I essentially wanted to test out was, does that matter? Do I have to have them in virtues? And it really does not seem to be. Naturally, if you do have the virtues, then you're going to be a lot stronger. And particularly if you want to do group content, then you probably need to have the virtues capped. But I don't really do a lot of group content. I mean, I might later. I doubt it, just because I don't really like group content in this game. Because essentially all it is the mobs are just giant bullet sponges, meaning that it takes forever to kill any of them. Alright, nice. So you can see I've completed then here the initial Slayer. You can see that the Slayer deeds here at the beginning of the game are super easy. But yeah, I don't really do group content. Again, I'm not opposed to it, but if it takes like, I don't know, 10 or 12 minutes to kill a boss, that's not very fun to me. So I would much rather just do more landscape content or level another character, do all sorts of other things. But we'll see. But for that reason, that's why I'm very happy that I did then that experiment of checking, do I actually have to level? Oh, you can already see I can add a second one. So like I said, I think Honesty is going to be my next one. Yeah, definitely for the Tactical Mastery and Will. Oh, I should have to have another... So I'm going to apply the same approach where I think actually you had this for Wisdom. No, that's good, yeah. I'm just going to mainly level 1 and 1 Virtue. If it's cap, I'll level another one and then just essentially cycle through that. Okay. That is then, yeah, so the Villains in the Vale. That's the last quest here in Nogland. Get some shoes. Nice. Oh, I think, yeah, I didn't equip that. Oh, you even got some... Oh. That's something else. Alright, so now we need to go on to Gondamon. Did I actually unlock the Stable Master here? Yes. And in fact, I was gonna say, I think you can even just run. You can do this now, which obviously didn't used to be the case. But you can see it's really, the quest flow is really very nice. We'll go here to Gondamon, pick up a lot of quests. They are essentially all in this area. You run up and do a lot of things here, go back and forth. This is where the spiders are. This is where the Dour Hands are. You essentially do all of this. There are a lot of, this is a whole goblin region. But I think there's maybe 1 or 2 quests there, really not much. And then Dualand, I don't do anything here. Well, these are then homesteads anyway. True, I could go to the Yondershire, which I actually never do. I need to check what levels the Yondershire is for, because I can't remember really ever doing that. I know I have, but anyway. So essentially, we're like halfway done with Ered Luin already, in terms of questing at least. Essentially do all that, and then it's done. So, and then afterwards we'll see where we go. But now we are at Gondamon, right? So we'll go and turn these in. Hey, welcome. We're just leveling a little bit here in Ered Luin. I've got my Loremaster for the first time. Going through and completing all these quests. Let's see. I really miss... I know I've said this a number of times, but I really miss my running buff from my Warden or from a Hunter. It would be interesting to compare the DPS, or the damage output, between Loremaster and Hunter. Because I know that the Loremaster has gotten a lot stronger. But we'll see. Maybe I'll check that out in another test or another video. Okay, we've got those. And get some health potions. I always think that there's a quest up here, but there isn't, in fact. Okay. So, we're gonna go up, I believe, let's see, clear the way, bring the elf. Yeah, that's up that way. Yeah, we'll go up. We could get the wealth. Let's get the wolf pelts, because we can essentially get some up here. Yeah, we'll get those. And yeah, there's one. Interesting. So I accidentally just called my bear. Cool. Alright, there's another one. So I could definitely tell the differences between the original Loremaster and this update. And it's, while sad that a lot of the animals are gone, I mean, I'm playing the wrong spec anyway, but I really like them this, the lightning charged, and that over time I build up charges. That's really quite cool. I'm not sure why with the first, it actually killed, or at least I thought I killed a wolf back there, the first one, but who knows. And otherwise, there are a lot of wolves here. There are actually 3 right there, which I might actually go. Yeah, I see some here. Yeah, there's one. So one, what's this? Okay, the novices, which I need to kill anyway. And spoilers. I think you're in the wrong one. Alright, I think I'm gonna then, yeah. I can, however, I'm gonna finish this clear the way, and then I'll go up that way to get the other quest with the wolves. Yeah, and the clear the way, oh yeah, see, we're now already in the territory where the aggressive mobs will actually attack you, which, you know, makes sense. Okay, we're gonna almost like suicide down here. This. We'll see how survival will run. Not bad. I mean, it was only 4. Yeah, Roth to rig. This song, I think they actually use this song in Dungeons and Dragons Online as well. Either they took it from here, or or Lord of the Rings took it from... Oh, I need one more spoiler. There we go. Or Lord of the Rings took it from DDO. I'm not sure. Definitely not one of my favorite songs. I definitely dislike it quite a bit. All right, up we go here. And then... Now I know... Watch, that's probably a wolf. Oh no, it's probably... Maybe it was just a bat. Like I said, I know up here in this corner... Oh, really? Do they share? No, there's one. Yeah. I thought that there was more than one, though. Okay, there were at least two, but that was enough. Good. And then the bear meat, yeah. But, yeah, that's then... I don't need that yet. All right, we're gonna go turn these in. This is also one of my favorite songs. I should probably try to find, in case people didn't know, let's see if I can get this to work on that. Yeah, in case people did not know, I hope I didn't just break something by pressing that. So if you actually press Alt-R, interrupt, nice. Then it will bring up this filters. And if there are sounds, like one thing I really dislike about the captain class and about the warden is the yelling. And even on the minstrel, there are a number of sounds that I filtered out. Oops. So you can press record and you'll see all of the sounds that are playing. And if you don't like them, then you can filter them out, either for this character or for the account. So if you, what's this? You can't hear it. Should be able to. There. Okay, exactly. That was then the night wind, and then this cold night, I believe, is the name of the sound, this song. But anyway, so in case you didn't know, you can then click this filters and filter out certain sounds that you don't like, including songs. And so if there's a certain song that you really dislike, like a lot of songs there's essentially one or two songs in Gundabad that repeat ad nauseum, and I put them on filter because it's just like I cannot stand this song anymore. All right, let's go get this. Yeah, we're gonna defeat the warriors. And what's up with all of those? I don't know if that was a bug or... You can kind of hear in the background, so I clicked on, because there were two songs playing at once. I think it's gone now, but you could hear, because I clicked on play that one song, it was playing in the background, but it's now done. It's now back to this really good song. I would say, like, for me personally, when I think of Lord of the Rings Online, I think of, or rather, it's not that I think of the song, but when I when I hear this song, I feel like it just embodies Lord of the Rings. But I'm sure a lot of that is nostalgia speaking. But whatever, that's fine. All right, we'll we'll get these bear meats. What is this? There shouldn't. As far as I know, there isn't one to. Ah, okay. These have been the class skills. All right, get rid of these dour hands. It'd be nice if I could get one more bear. Yeah, the brigand slayers. Oh, I guess I have to do more than one bear. Well, the reason I kept going on over that way was partially because I have to. For the dour hands. But if there are some bears over here, then I should try to kill them. Yeah, there's one. I know there are a number of them there, too. But as you can see, killing them does not guarantee the drop. There's another one there. There we go. And let's see if this is... Okay, well, we've at least got... If this one doesn't drop... I was gonna say, if that one doesn't drop, at least we've got... We had another bear that we could use. All right, then, yeah, make sure that this is set. Because we have to go up to that ring. The dour hand are all in this area, but I need to go up to that ring in order to get the shield. Oh. Oh, I guess not. I thought I had to get a shield. I guess I will kill this guy then. It might appear once I finish both of those. But I could have sworn. Also because typically if there is then just a ring on the map, then that means there's something that you have to collect or there's something special there. Healer? Ah, okay. I was gonna say, why healer? But it was then to get rid of the debuff. Burn. Burn, baby, burn. Did he not have a... I thought I put a burn debuff on him. Alright, sturdy. So these guys also have a Deed Slayer. There are tons here in Caladul. There are easily, I don't know, 50. So that's the place to actually do it. Yeah, see, I was talking about this. Yeah, exactly. See? So I'm gonna grab this. Oh, I was just looking at the wrong one. All right, warrior sturdy. Thank you. Hey. So those are back there. Well, actually, I will go. And I'm just going to wait. Kellendon, what? No, I thought I had selected that milestone, but I guess not. But yeah, see what I mean about the day-night cycles in this game? It's the late watches now. So we've certainly progressed. It used to be just evening, and now it's the late watches. So we have certainly progressed. What I mean is we've certainly progressed later in the day or evening. But that's what I mean, that the day-night cycle in this game is really long. I must have been too far away or something. It still didn't take. Ah, there we go. Okay. All right, that dude, and that dude. Oh, nice, a new staff. With fate, which I don't really need. I guess it's... Okay, so it's another. Man, look how jank my character looks. I mean, it's still very much beginner of the game, or beginning of the game. But, I mean, that's normal. Particularly those teal pants. Funny. Alright, I need to turn this in, and then I'll go to Galir. No, that was Galir's shield. Need to go to the elf stone named Glimmer. See, and that's why, exactly. I was actually going to go to Glimmer first, but then I thought, no, isn't there another quest that you get? And I was right. Exactly. So, like I said, I've done... It's almost embarrassing. Well, embarrassing for two reasons. Embarrassing how much I've actually deeded this area out, probably at least 10 times. Which I guess in the grand scheme of things isn't too much. But the other embarrassing thing is that for having done it that many times, you would think I know this like the back of my hand. Which I kind of do. Like I know that we have to go there to unlock another point of interest for the Dower Hands. But some of the quest progression, I'm still not entirely clear with. Okay, so that's probably here. Yeah, so here you can see complete quests in Ered Luin. We've now got 20, and now Hero. This is then the last one. See, and so Hero, that will give you 4,000. That is crazy. I wish they were more... I definitely wish they were a little bit more... Yeah, I just wish that they gave more. Okay, so this, I need 1,000, so if I get 4,000, then that'll level both of those. Because I can already unlock the third one. What's the third one I need? Yeah, probably confidence. I'm gonna have to look that up. But confidence, and then I'll want some mitigation. Yeah, I'll essentially want some mitigations. This might be good, the wit. I'll have to check that out. But yeah, so here, this vow of vengeance, you'll see. We'll go up here. And here we've got the Dower Hand camp, as you can see there. And boom. So he's gonna die anyway. There we go. And there we go, the Grimwater. We've discovered Grimwater, as I said. All right, get this one on. Oops. Does he not have a... Ah, that's right, they can actually fail. I forgot about that. That this can miss. So I was thinking, why is that missing frequently? I've never done... Ah, that's that one. What is it that this does? Nah, it just slows movement. If the skill is used once you compare flanks the enemy you're met. Oh, yeah. That would be nice for a heal, but that won't happen. Just because I can't flank the enemy. At least while playing alone. And I think without a pet, I don't think it's possible. Oh, there we go. Here we can see another Loremaster. All right. Well, I think with that, we're gonna call it a day for our first foray into Lord of the Rings, leveling the Loremaster. Like I said, we're probably gonna go back and forth between this one and my Warden. I'm gonna level my Warden, I think just another 3 more levels up to 140, unlock the Umbar expansion, and then we'll probably, we'll go back and forth between this character and that one. Let me know if you want me to essentially read out the quest texts, either here for the Loremaster or in the other account. And then otherwise, I'm probably going to play some Elder Scrolls Online. I want to essentially go through all of the quest lines there, and my plan is to essentially rank the side quests, not the main quests. Go through every region and see, okay, what side quests are the most entertaining or most surprising or just worth doing. So that'll be a long-term project. So we're definitely going to do that a little bit. And then also just some single-player games. I'm playing through Oblivion right now, for example. And, whatever strikes my fancy. But I'm going to probably stream at least an hour every evening. So here it's GMT plus, so Greenwich Mean Time +1 where I'm streaming. So probably around, I would say, in the evening, 7 to 8, I would say. So would love to have you here. But for today, that is all. So thank you all for joining, and we will see each other in the next stream. Until then, take care, everyone.